What is up, everybody? I'm Hunter here from Film Nerd, and today I am doing, in honor of the Dark Tower that just came out and the upcoming It remake, I am doing a classic movie review, my very first one on this channel, and my first classic review is on the great Stephen King adaptation directed by the great Stanley Kubrick, The Shining. The Shining stars Jack Nicholson as Jack Torrance, Shelley Duvall as Wendy Torrance, and Danny Lloyd as Danny Torrance. It is about a family who is assigned with looking over the Overlook Hotel, and the hotel starts taking over, and just a lot of good psychological thriller. To let you guys know, spoiler alert, I am going to be talking about the movie, full spoilers. Movies came out in the 80s. If you guys haven't seen it by now, you're never going to. I admittedly just watched it last night for the very first time, and it sucks that I waited this long to see it. This is such a perfect movie, from the dialogue to the horror cutscenes to the pacing that goes really fast, and you're always engaged in the movie. There's never any slow time or time where it feels like it's dragging on. The movie always goes at a certain pace, and it works for this movie. But yeah, let's go into a little bit of what I loved about this movie, and this is where I'm talking about the spoilers. Jack Nicholson's performance as Jack Torrance, fantastic. Jack Nicholson has that, he does crazy perfect, and this is the perfect role for Jack Nicholson at the time. Another actor that did great, and was actually surprising because it's a kid actor, Danny Lloyd as Danny Torrance. Perfect. This kid knew exactly what to do. He knew what he delivered his lines like a kid would, but it made it seem real powerful, especially with Tony, and the fact that he really has to carry two major roles in playing Danny Torrance and then also playing his imaginary friend Tony. Like the scene where, spoiler alert again, where he's talking to Wendy and she's shaking him, Danny, wake up, and he goes, it's Tony, and you can tell it's Tony because the voice changed. He goes, Danny's not here anymore, Mrs. Torrance. And the way that he delivered that line was so creepy and so unsettling, and just such a good delivery of that line. Wendy Torrance, played by Shelley Duvall, excuse me, awesome job. She has that, what am I gonna say? She feels vulnerable. She's somebody you root for because she does look like she's so vulnerable, especially when Jack starts going a little bit insane, and you can tell just when he starts going insane, like the scene where he's writing on a typewriter, and she goes downstairs to get Jack because something's wrong with Danny, Tony's taken over, so she runs downstairs to get Jack, and he's not down there, and she's reading what he's writing on the typewriter, and it's just line after line after line after line, the exact same thing, which is, if I remember, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, and he just keeps writing that on the typewriter. and she starts getting freaked out. And then, you know, when he starts to go a little more nuts, you can tell because just the way the face or the facial expression changes. Yeah, I love this movie. As you guys can tell, I'm trying to go through my thoughts right now. Some of the most hilarious lines that I don't think were meant to be hilarious, but when one of my favorite lines in the movie, and I just died laughing because the way Jack Nicholson performed it was, you can move this camera up a bit, was he was like, he's chasing Wendy up the stairs, and she has the bat, and she keeps swinging it, and he goes, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm gonna bash your fucking brains in. He said it exactly like that too. His eyes got real big. It was. I know I shouldn't be laughing at that part, but the way that Jack Nicholson said that line was just perfect. Let me see. Oh yes, give it to Dick Hallorann. The actor is, I think, is Scatman Crothers. I'm probably butchering that name. He did great job as Dick, who has that shining power that Danny has, and yeah, just he did awesome. The whole cast and crew in this movie, top notch. The writing, the dialogue is so fast paced, so quick, so funny that it works for this movie. And I wasn't expecting that. Like, I heard it was a masterpiece of a movie, and usually when something gets that high of a praise, for me, I always like to knock it down a bit because I see all the negatives, especially the movie that came out in the 80s. I just watched it last night. It is a masterpiece. It is such a great horror movie, a great psychological thriller, and just an all-around perfect movie. That being said, it does have one small flaw. And this is maybe just me, but I feel like the progression of madness that Jack Torrance feels a little rushed at points, because it's like he gets to the hotel, and then they do like, you know, Monday the next month, something like that, and it just seems like the progression to madness of Jack's character seems to be a little rushed. Like, I'm reading the book now, or I'm listening to the book, I have an audiobook, and it's actually a really, really, really good book. If you guys haven't read it, you guys need to. I'm on like chapter 22, so I've got a lot more to go, but the progression of Jack's madness character always seems to be slower in the book. And I'm not those guys that compare, saying the book's better. No, the movie's a masterpiece. Just Jack's character seems to go from not crazy to crazy, and it's not like, you know, fast. Like, you see the progression, but the progression itself is a little fast paced for me. I did watch the made-for-TV series. I'll admit something, that the TV series did better than the movie. If you guys watch Nostalgia Critic, Doug also brings this up, and it's the progression of the Jack character in that show was more slow paced, but it was also way more boring, so I could kind of see why they wanted to hurry this up and get to the psycho, the Jack losing his mind, which I love that premise, that a hotel can drive somebody to manage because they're isolated. They have nobody else. There's nobody there because of the snowstorm. So you don't really get that human interaction except for the same people you've been in the hotel with. And, it's only him, it's only Danny, it's only Wendy. So he starts losing his mind at a point. And of course, you guys know about Red Rum, which is murder spelled backwards. You guys know the great line, "Here's Johnny," when he axes the door. Yeah, I love this movie. This is such a good horror movie, especially when it's coming off of a Stephen King adaptation, which most of them have not been good because they've been made for TV. Like, I enjoyed the It miniseries. It's bad looking at it now, which I am getting a review of for you guys. I'm gonna rewatch that and upload it before I go see the It movie. Oops. Alright, it focused now. Misery was great. Shawshank Redemption was great. But you only had a certain few Stephen King adaptations that have been great. The Shining I put above stuff like Shawshank Redemption and Misery as one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations because I love the intrigue of it. I love the pacing. I love how I can sit down, not feel bored, and enjoy a great, solid horror movie that is psychological. It's not just blood and gore, and there's pretty much no blood and gore, except for like a scene where Danny gets a vision and it's of the blood through the hallway, and when Wendy hits him over the head with the bat, knocks him over the stairs, and there's a little blood on his. But it's not like gore. It's not like, this movie is all about the blood and the guts. No, it's more about the intrigue. It's more about what is possessing Jack. Is it the hotel? Is it the isolation? Is this all in his head? A lot of questions coming out of this movie. Another great scene was the maze scene. They have a maze on the outside. It's snowing. It's icing outside. Jack is chasing Danny through the maze. Danny escapes. Jack ends up freezing to death. And just the scene, if I can get a photo on here, I'll show you guys the photo. The scene where he's just sitting there and he's frozen to death. He's died. Wendy and Danny leave the hotel, and that's pretty much the end of the movie. Oh my god, this is such a great movie. I cannot give this movie a higher praise because it is a masterpiece. It is a horror. I don't know if I want to call it a horror movie. It's a thriller. It's a psychological thriller. I don't know if that really counts as a horror movie, but I'm counting it as a horror movie. It's one of the greatest horror movies of all time, in my opinion. Movies are subjective. You guys may feel different. But I'm giving The Shining a 5 out of 5 stars. It is incredible. All the actors did great. The pacing of the movie was fast, and I love that because I don't like being bored during movies. The horror aspect was great. The thriller aspect was great. The writing was top notch. The cinematography was great. Just the camera angles, the way it moves, the way it does the close-up zoom in shots. The music in the background is incredible because it works with the scenes. Like whenever Danny's having a vision, you hear the doom, 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 doom. What was that? It's that one piano note that you always keep hearing whenever Danny has a vision. The music when Jack ends up going insane is great. The bar scene is awesome, where he walks in the bar and he just sees these people who are dead, and then you don't know if that's real or if that's in his imagination. Yeah, this video could be an hour long of me just talking about how much I love this movie. 5 out of 5 stars. The only negative I have is the progression of Jack's character, but that can be forgiven because it is such a fast-paced movie that I really enjoyed how the pacing of this movie works. Alright guys, so that is episode 1 of my classic movie reviews. Tune in next week, and I'm going to do Stephen King's It, the miniseries with Tim Curry, to get ready for the It movie. And then of course I will review The Dark Tower when I see it, and of course the It movie to finish off. And I may get Misery in there as well before I go see Dark Tower. And then of course, is there any classic reviews that I should watch, any classic movies that I should watch and review on this channel? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to Film Nerd. I'm a Film Nerd. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.